Welcome to Virtual Cafe, where we tell stories that slap from people who have been through the mud but never collapsed. Today's guest is Erica Thomas, Procurement Analyst at Lockheed Martin and founder of Coach Bae University. But believe me, her journey goes way beyond those titles. From navigating the front line of logistics to streamlining procurement at giants like Lockheed, Erica has transformed every challenge into stepping stones. She's built a career on precision, resilience, and relentless self-improvement, all while empowering others to level up through her own platform. What's up, Erica? How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
You know me, blessed and highly favored, feeling great. So take me on your journey, fresh out of high school. What was the next step after you graduated?
Really figuring out what I wanted to do. I didn't take the straight and narrow path going to 4-year college. I did a couple of courses and semesters through community college and really figured out like that wasn't me. I wanted to be more of that entrepreneur. I didn't really want to do corporate. So, I had tons of jobs. I had to find my fitting. But eventually I did. And I did appreciate the corporate world. I did appreciate scaling and learning the skills that I could bring to companies and appreciating that you do need some experience for that long-term flexibility that we all crave.
Did you take on because you said you had dove into that entrepreneurial space? Would you say that you took on like odd jobs?
So, I mean, a lot of it that I did was mainly there was little odd jobs, but by the time I turned 23, I transitioned into the corporate world. So my parents only let me kind of freestyle for 2.5 years before putting me on track and saying, we're going to be here to support you, but you got to stick with something. So I moved out and I moved to Baltimore, got my first corporate job. And I think the number one thing was finding my non-negotiables. As an entrepreneur or even as a 9 to 5er, you want to find your non-negotiables. So you're not just winging it, right? If I could even go back COVID time 5 years ago, there's plenty that I would change and make my non-negotiables then so that I can enjoy more time now. So when you are deciding what you want to do, if you're still in your early 20s, give yourself grace for sure, but really start building out that structure, that roadmap, what that could look like for you. Because entrepreneur life can be great. You still, at the end of the day, need a flow and a structure.
I love that you touched up on that. Like, give yourself grace. As millennials, we the microwave generation, and so we want
Yes.
everything instant.
Yes.
So, you built a career on logistics, procurement, and onboarding,
hmm
and career coaching. What's a common thread that's driven each pivot?
Having a open communication throughout it all. Um, from learning logistics and having that communication and say, there's more to my logistical career than the basic. Even working on that in the corporate world, having that conversation with management and people who can help build my character. And even on the career side, where I'm coaching individuals and letting them know, like, hey, it may take you 6 months. Don't compare yourself to other people. It may take you a little bit longer or less time, right? Just having straight, open communication and letting people know like you're your own person.
In terms of coaching, what was the experience like the first couple of clients?
Actually, my very first client, Kathy, shout out to Kathy, she gave me a TikTok review. And at the time I didn't even have TikTok. One of my friends sent it to me and they said, I think this girl is talking about you. She was like, resume bae. She was like, you the only resume bae I know. And she wanted watching the video all the way to the end and she screen shared and she showed my LinkedIn and she was like, this girl, she's amazing. She's like, she took the time and talked me through my resume and talked me through some interview questions and you should sign up for her resume review audit program. And from there, that's when it just really started picking up. I honestly didn't even see that video till about 2 months later. So I had to
Mhm.
find her through all my crazy DMs that I have gotten since then. I was wondering, like, where are these people coming from? But shout out to her for believing in me, trusting what I had to say, and actually putting it into work because she was able to see the results of it. If you are going to be that coach in whatever avenue it is, just post your content. Like, I even got a message today where someone said, I appreciate you still posting consistent, because people, they get to a certain point where they become gatekeepers, right? And it can be very overwhelming trying to be that expert or that go-to person without feeling like people are using you, right? For every DM that I get to say, thank you for posting this, or, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this company was hiring, like when I post Java Todays and things like that, it means something, because I'm not posting it just to post it, because I could easily just tell people, go on LinkedIn. It takes me 30 seconds, 45 seconds to do a green screen video and say, hey, this job is posting for entry-level buyer paying $55K, right? Somebody may see that and want to jump on it, right? Everybody's not going to be at that 6-figure mark, but to give those opportunities and advantages to people so they can have a chance. If you are willing to really trust somebody, me saying change these 3 to 5 bullet points on your resume was able to get them an interview that they couldn't get before is a life-changing event, right? Now all they have to do is ace that interview and hope that they can move forward to get an offer, right? Yeah. So, but when you set proper boundaries and letting people know my time is very valuable and I only have a select amount of energy that I can give out. So if you are going to be an expert or a guru or whatever you want to call it, being in charge of people's livelihood, then set your boundaries, have a respectable conversation, and people will appreciate that, right? There's some people who give advice and are career content creators and things like that, who, you know, if you send a DM, they're never going to read it. They're never going to text you back or whatever, right? But there's some people that you know that had kind of put themselves on the pedestal, like, I'll give you my time. It may cost $50 for that session. It may cost more, right? But if you appreciate that person's value and you really want to learn and grow from what they have to give you, then do that, right? Because when you think of it in reverse, you're going to get to a point where your time will become compensated some way, somehow. This week, I hosted 5 free master classes, right? And you know, my platforms from LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok, that's over 40,000 people that I let know have a free masterclass. So you have to, as that consumer, realize, like, okay, if I can't afford this person's regular service, then utilize that free coffee chat or that free session or that free class that person is giving. Each class that I held this week, it was something different that I added, because I was like, oh, like, I should have put this in yesterday's session that I put in the next day, and the next day, and next day. So if you are going to be that consumer and you know that you're in that situation where you need growth, you need other people's opinions to kind of help you through it and guidance, do what you can, but also appreciate what they have done, right? Because your result from the free, from the paid, is going to vary, but how you're going to receive that is up to you, you know?
Yeah. At what point did you understand that you had to implement boundaries? Was there a specific moment?
There was several moments, and there still are several moments now. Shanae is a very great example, right? Shanae will give her shirt to the homeless, no questions asked. And she allowed me to understand structure and setting those boundaries. People will respect and appreciate you in any room that you walk into, but also people know how to play with you, right? If you let them. So if you just give yourself out to the world and then you get to that burnout point, nobody's going to care unless you let them know, setting those boundaries early. Time is valuable, right? So I'm very strict. I'm learning to be very strict.
Time is valuable. It's infinitely more valuable than the money. Like, you
Exactly.
don't get the time back. You just don't.
I talk to so many people on a weekly basis that I have to separate certain portions of myself, right? So I'm not overwhelmed and feeling that burnout. So there may be some people who I will give a phone call to. I'll say, hey, my calendar right now is not available, but we'll talk on the phone, right? It just really depends on that person. And I try to give grace to people. There was a point I was like, oh yeah, here's my calendar, leaving it on every single platform. People would sign up, no shows, call them, not answering, right? Then I was charging for consultations, and I'm like, now people like, oh, I gotta pay to talk to you. It's like, but now I don't even have to worry about that because there's only a select people who can have my calendar, right? So just being able to set those boundaries respectfully so people know what they can and cannot have out of you.
Was there ever a figure that you made for someone who used your service where you was like, damn, I think I need to be charging more?
um, my highest client hit 200K. Once you hit that 150, you already know you're there, right?
Yeah.
It's more so getting that extra for time, right? Because now your days are longer. You may be remote, but because at that point you probably are remote, and that's not even your want anymore because you're past that. Now you just want time now. You don't want to have 7 meetings a day. You don't want to have to send reports and all that stuff. So we got her to 200K. Shout out to Joe. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was back in December that just passed. So she knew what she wanted, right? She knew that those last 2 panel interviews were going to be serious. But the reason why it wasn't just a thing of like charging more, it was like, how can I get more of these type of people, right? Because you can raise your prices and still hit nothing, like get no revenue, make no money, because once people see that price went up, they're like, let me go find something cheaper. So it's not about raising your price. It's finding those same people again and again and again. So I think Joe, she definitely opened my perspective, and it was more like a relationship, right? Where we had that open conversation. So I'm like, if I could do it for her, I know I could do it again and again. And I only need, maybe 2 to 5 of those individuals a month to make the same revenue goals that I would be trying to make off of 100 people on a low ticket, right?
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot, and even last time we spoke, right, when I said that there was a lot of changes coming within CBU. That's why I'm very strict. That's why my calendar is not accessible. That's why I'd rather post a lot of content and get people to learn about me and what I talk about. So when they do become my actual student one-on-one, it's like a no-brainer. We're not going back to ground zero, right?
Yeah.
It's all about leveling up. You can't just go from no experience to 6 figs. It's really about changing the value, and changing your audience as you grow too.
You know what's so crazy about that? My mentor, you know what he told me, like how you should set your price?
Mm-hmm. What do you say?
If it doesn't make you smile, it's too low.
Hello? Okay. And another thing that I've learned too is that I do not allow people to make me feel bad for my price. Because I'm not offering just a one and done service like a lot of resume writers. There's a difference between a resume writer and a career coach. The resume writer will write your resume, send it back to you, complete, one, done. You never talk to this person again. A career coach is someone that's going to guide you on your career journey. So whether it's texting, on the phone, Zoom calls, right? With constant communication, saying, hey, I got this interview. Hey, here's a recruiter. What do I say? Right? That's a lot of time. That's a lot of communication. That's a lot of like smiling, positive vibes, dealing with your frustration, right? So that's why within CBU, I don't kick anyone out the program because you have that long-term advantage with me. I don't get upset when people say that's too much, right? Because I know what I bring to the table. And I know if I had this person, me that I am now for other people, there will be no hesitation to know I get this one person in their team for months at a time consistently, no ghosting, no trying to figure things out on my own with the personal like roadmap. And that's why I changed my perspective on who comes in, right? Because I'd rather you come in and say, oh my gosh, Erica, I've been following you for so long, or I've been following you for 3 weeks, right? There's people who followed me yesterday and send me a DM like, wow, like I don't know what made me connect with you, but is there any way we can talk to see how I can join CBU, right? Those are the people that I appreciate. Versus there's people since 2022 when I was just winging it, they still got their green banners up. And I'm like, bro, you've been with me since day one, rocking with me back then when resumes was $50, okay? And you didn't want to take advantage then. And now 3 years later, you see success stories, sign-on bonuses, people getting into federal government jobs. Like now I'm like way past what I ever thought that I could be, and you still don't see the value. Like, come on now.
And yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly. And then people will see me like from conferences and stuff from months ago. Like I actually haven't been, besides the one I went to in New York a couple weeks ago, in a year since Diversitech, right? So there's people that have seen me last year will hit me up on LinkedIn like, hey girl. And I already know what's coming because they see, we talk then and they see people after people after people coming through in less time than they could have been a year ago, right? Yeah. And I don't want people to really have that FOMO feeling. So if you are watching this, truly understand this. This is some free game from Coach Bae. Please understand whether it's me, whether it's Maddie, whether it's Tiara Swain, Andre Davis, right? All these high-level career coaches, understand we have been career coaches for at least 3.5, 5 years, worked at amazing companies. So if you want to be a success story, don't think about it. Just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Because we are now all obviously in the same circle. I talk to Andre a couple times a month. Me and Tiara, we talk pretty much every day. Like that's my girl. We locked in. We two Philly girls locked in. So if you want to be a success story, stop watching other people do and be places. Just do it. I promise you. If you say, hey, I want to achieve these goals, here's my budget, I'm pretty sure there's always something that we can do, right? But don't expect it for the free. Don't expect it for yesterday's price, like Jose said, and respect our time because we want you to win. Just get out of your head.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I see it a lot
Yes.
with different people, specifically with coaching. I feel like people have trouble understanding that you're paying for someone else's mistakes. You're actually paying for time that's going to accelerate your growth and multiply your growth much faster than if you would do it by yourself.
Exactly. And you got to think, we are two strangers coming together to achieve a goal together. So you have to trust me and I have to trust you. I have to trust you that you're going to listen to the advice and do the work that I'm helping you do. But I also need you to trust me that what I'm doing and putting out there for you and putting your name out there and allow you to meet the recruiters that's in my circle, that you're not going to make as look back. You're not going to not show up to the interview. You're not going to show up or answer your phone for the phone interview, right? I even had to be brutally honest the other day. I said a lot of these people who are job seeking that's still making excuses, it's them. You cannot blame anyone else, right? I don't care how many rejections you get, there's still a job out there that you can apply for. If that means going on site, and I wish COVID never happened for that main reason, because everybody wants to work from home. And as realistic as that is for some people, that's not for everybody. Could you imagine nurses working from home? Every single nurse, everything is like a telehealth visit, right? Like I need to come in person. I need to physically see a doctor, and every doctor like, nope, Zoom, meet you on Zoom. People don't realize the reality of that being kind of like a pro, not a mandatory. Like I said, it is one of those things where once you see the value, you will never question anyone's pricing. I mean, if it was still entry level, they was kind of shaky, you really didn't know what they had going on, but come on now. You're reaching out to them for a reason.
Yeah.
But people don't want to spend that. They rather walk on eggshells and be like, oh, I'll figure it out. And then 6 months later, I'm telling you, I see people all the time. I'm like, and I'll even hit them up. I'm like, hey, you told me you needed 2 weeks to pay. It's 6 months later. You still begging on LinkedIn. What are we doing? Yeah. What happened?
I find it interesting, right? The idea of social media, because you could be someone and you don't really have much to offer, like much value to offer, but you have a big following and you make money off of that alone.
Right.
Versus people who have value to offer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just this wide spectrum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like for instance, TikTok, I got paid off of TikTok probably like 4 times. And
Okay.
that's not even nothing, right? But
Talk about
and
it.
but with LinkedIn, I appreciate my audience on LinkedIn because obviously these are job seekers, right? People on TikTok, they just, oh, that's cool. I never thought about that, type of thing. But LinkedIn is where that's big value, at least is supposed to come into play. And I try to get people to realize you can get the value through basic stuff. I felt like, honestly, I was hit when I first started. My locks was like up to here.
Uh,
Okay. I was looking smack. And so I
that
think
awkward phase.
that very awkward phase, okay?
I'm still in it. I can't wait till my joints. I can't wait.
But I think even showing that, right, that persistence when I was nervous just sitting in front of the camera, making my first YouTube video, and I was just very awkward and like, hey guys, this resumebae, and like appreciating my own glow up, right? Like I can see it in my skin alone. Like I be out here chilling. Like I don't even have to really put makeup on a lot of days to make my content versus back then I was very like self-conscious. But the glow up that I personally see in myself makes me know that I'm on the right track and that I am high value, right? Because for the amount of work that I put in, you gotta think I have 17 students right now that I have to still give time one-on-one, on top of searching for new students to come in, on top of content, right? On top of DMs and text messages and missed calls and Zoom meetings, right? That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time on top of my kid, right? So there's a lot of things that I have to navigate. And I just tell people all the time that if you want me to be your coach, you're going to appreciate once you make that payment, we're locked in. I let them know straight on. There's no waiting period. There's no like, oh, you'll get your your onboarding docs in 40. Like, no. I'm like, hey, you got that email? Bang, check your spam folder. Make sure you didn't get it there. Then my assistant's calling them like, hey, we got your invoice. Here's your receipt. We are very on top of it. So people have to think bigger because that payment is one time. What you get your ROI after that is unlimited, right? I don't care if people get 2 jobs out of CBU. Do
Yeah.
what you need to do for yourself, but appreciate my value and my time and my pricing that comes with that.
Sure. I love that. You mentioned in one of your posts that you grew your TikTok from 1.8K to 29K in under 90 days. What's your advice for someone who wants to build their personal brand organically?
Honestly, consistency.
Mm.
People wait for you to fail and to slip up and to not post and to say, oh, you just did a trend, and realizing that people like free game. So if you know people like free game, they want to know, what else do I got to do? Let me keep following her. Let me engage. Let me comment. And then I make for like every comment on a video or like every other video, when somebody comments, I'll reply with a live video to that person. So now people realize like, oh, she's just not making like videos and not talking to the followers. Like she's actually engaging with them. So building that brand of trust as well gets people to just jump on. Then they tag their friends, or I'll say, hey, if you think your friend will work on site, this job could be for them. Boom, tag them down below. And just making it fun and engaging. And yeah, this was January. And by March, I was already in double digits. So, and it's still good. I'm waiting I'm like this close from 30, like this close from 30. I'm like 300 away from 30K. So, I know it's coming, but now I just do it for fun, honestly, truly. Cause I don't have like the mental capacity to be everywhere at the same time. I just make my TikToks, post them, post it to YouTube, and keep it going.
Now I respect that. I got 48K.
Yeah. I gotta catch. I gotta catch up. Now I got some work to do.
My YouTube channel, I got 193K.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I mean a little
We're
low
not
key.
gonna talk about YouTube for me just yet, but at least my shorts. Now my shorts get like 2.5K views. Like I think and I started posting consistently in April.
Okay.
So I think that definitely, I don't do the long form because once again, time. But I do short. I'll post a short every day.
Yeah,
And
there's the
that was
bag and the
moving.
shorts. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, there's a bag and the shorts. Like, I actually, I got the play. Maybe I shouldn't say it on this. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, you gotta text me. You gotta text me to
I,
play. You
I
gotta
got,
text me
I
to
got
put on
the
that.
play, ultimate play.
You gotta text me to play because we gonna get the people told me it's a bag of YouTube for sure. So I'm
Yeah,
waiting on it. I'm
yeah.
waiting.
There's two things that I hear you saying a lot that's so very important, like the consistency, and I definitely want to expound more upon that. But really, that bravery, because there's so many people who use social media for consumption and never production.
Exactly. Just to watch and scroll and waste time.
Have you ever given yourself a break from social media, like just stopped completely?
Yes, actually I did. I had deleted my personal Instagram for probably like 2 months. Um, because one, I wanted to focus solely on CBU. So I deleted my personal one and was just on CBU Instagram. But that still allowed me to like I see my friends what they're posting on my cousins and just focus on the branding. Because at least on CPU, like these are strangers. Because when you post for other people that you know, it can get very overwhelming, right? People love to people watch. They love to pocket watch. So it was very overwhelming, right? I would see, I'll get probably like 400 views on my Instagram stories on my regular page, and I'll talk about CBU, and I'm like, none of y'all got nothing to say or like no congrats or cool or anything. But then when I started popping off, when I was showing my other platforms, that's when my family really started like, oh, wow, you came up on my For You page. And it kind of was discouraging. So I don't follow family on CBU page, no friends, like, unless they have a business because it's like my business page. So unless one of my friends or someone I know has a business, then I'll follow that business page. But I don't like that personal view because, it is very self-conscious. I want you to support everything that I got going on.
Everyone should take a break from social media, right?
Yes, you need it.
It's so funny that you said that about like your family members and your friends, because I feel like those be the number one haters.
Haters,
They be the
haters.
number one
They
haters.
wanted it for free.
You and your little business. Like, all right.
And that's why I had to fall back. I definitely had to fall back.
So let's talk about your role, like procurement analyst. What is that?
So a procurement analyst is someone responsible for buying product or parts for said company. So whether it's education, aviation, transportation, whatever the industry is, you're the person responsible for the invoicing, exports, tracking it, vendor management. But that's kind of like an overview of it.
Okay, that's dope. And I know you mentioned breaking into GovTech isn't easy, right? What's so special about GovTech, like versus MarTech or EdTech?
I think because it's pretty much how our nation moves, right? You can't do anything without aerospace. You can't do anything without logistics and supply chain from food, retail, tariffs, right? International shipment. So when you kind of put it on that bigger scale, um, and you see like how our military handles things, people that work overseas handle our inventory, it puts it in high level perspective for you. And it's a consistency thing, right? It's something that once you're in it, you don't want to leave. Because you're not going to be able to get any of that same gratification from any other industry.
Yeah, that's dope. There's tiers of customer, right?
Yep,
Like you have your tier of customer that is like B2C. Like you're a business selling to customers, right? Then you have B2B, you're a business selling to businesses, but the ultimate customers is the government.
exactly. And they will pay to keep you on longer projects as well, especially if you do good and they like what you have to offer. They'll definitely keep you long term.
How long was that process for you to break into GovTech specifically?
Honestly, I would say probably about a month because their timeline is very different than the typical 9 to 5. Um, because they have certain projects that they have to get approved for, the budgeting. You have to obviously pass all background information, and go through training.
Yeah.
So from application to start date, I would say about 27 days. Start date probably would be like 2 weeks after.
Okay.
About 2 weeks after.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, because once you're in, you have endless options, and it's not easy. And sometimes you do have to take a pay cut. I will let people know that too. You may have to take a pay cut to gain the experience, but it's not forever, right? I'd rather be able to break into GovTech full time, right? On a Monday through Friday, hybrid, remote, whatever the schedule is. Let's just say I get to go to Deloitte, and Deloitte's like, well, we can't offer you 85, but, we could offer you 68. And every company, their pay scale is different, right? So it may not always, salary-wise, you can see it like as a decrease, but you got to think bigger, right? It's like, what are you gaining that you're not currently doing now? Because obviously, whatever you're doing now may be a burnout for you. But if Deloitte was like, we'll give you 68, we'll give you a sign-on bonus. Let's say at Lockheed, I'm hybrid, right? But Deloitte is like, well, we're fully remote, but you're 68. I'm taking it. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna either find an overnight job on the weekends, or I might, as much money I spend at Starbucks, I might be like, let me be a barista over there to get an employee discount. But you gotta make it make sense for that, so that you can scale up with that experience.
So what is next for Erica Thomas?
I have some things in the works, but I will say, because I don't like to jinx things, but I will say, if you are still looking for that one-on-one help with your career journey, take advantage of CBU now while it's still available, because once it's not, it's not. And that's all I'm gonna say. I will be outside a lot more too. So like I said, if you want me while I'm still home, while I'm still on the go, before I go fully off the grid, definitely tap in now.
Absolutely. I love it. That is it for today's episode of the Virtual Cafe. Big thanks to Erica Thomas for dropping so much wisdom and showing us what it means to lead with purpose, hustle, and heart. If this conversation hit home for you, don't forget to share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Until next time, stay blessed and highly caffeinated.